Hello, and welcome to another edition of Find Her Seat podcast. We are the podcast that helps women find their rightful seat at the table through discussions of health, wellness, beauty, and business. I am your co-host, Jennifer Etter.
And I am your co-host, Susan Mobley. And we are super excited to be coming live from the tasting room with Staci Henderson.
Okay, so let me just go ahead and start before we even go any further. I have never been more nervous about what I'm going to wear than today. I literally stood in my closet and was like, I can't. So I'm just going to wear all black and just hide in the background.
I know. We both were saying, we know Staci's going to be amazing looking today.
That's
she
so
is.
cute.
And
no,
so we're like,
that's...
how are we going to look fabulous next to her?
I love that. I love that. That's ridiculous, but that's really cute. Thank you.
But yeah, so Staci is she's a co-founder with MindScape.
MindScape Ketamine, IV infusion. So we treat depression, anxiety, OCD, PTSD. I co-founded that with my husband, who is a physician.
Perfect.
Yes, that's my latest business venture.
I want to know what makes you tick. So give me a little bit of history, if you don't mind, like maybe some of your background, where you grew up, like what led you to wanting to do that kind of a treatment for others?
Yeah. Well, it's pretty varied. I was born in Southern California. Being in this field of work that I'm currently in was not my passion in life. Did I want to be a mental health advocate growing up as a little girl? No, I wanted to be a beauty queen or something else, ballerina, preschool teacher, something else. And I have had several different careers. And I think that that's becoming more and more common as women, right? We evolve and things like that. But as I've gotten older and I've experienced more things, I've gone through a little bit of trauma in my life, right?
Yeah.
I'm in my late 40s now, and I did go through a pretty good bout of depression that I wasn't depressed my whole life, but I've got teenagers and I might have, divorce or two under my belt. Right. And I was like, what on earth is wrong with me? And I was trying to find some answers. And so I found this amazing therapy here in Houston. There was only a couple places that were doing it. And it's an IV infusion. And it was amazing. It was really life-changing for me. It was just a series of 6 treatments. It worked. It lifted my depression within the first treatment. And I thought, this is great. This is so amazing, except this place is so sketchy.
Oh no.
Right?
And don't say this.
I would never, because they were lovely people.
Right.
And so lovely.
And they introduced
me to it. And I kept going back because it worked. But the entire time I'm doing it, I'm redecorating their office. I went home and I said, oh, honey, my husband's a neuro doctor for well over 20 years. And I said, we could do this so much better. And that's sort of how it evolved and how we do things. And I also like to help people. And I also have no shame. So I will put my story out there. I have no problem telling people about my problems because I like to connect with people one-on-one.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm sure it inspires other people that are possibly going through the same thing to say, I'm listening to you thinking, wow, this is amazing. You had 6 treatments.
Right.
And it was life-changing. How many people out there, honestly, that could use this? Depression and anxiety and PTSD it's a big deal.
It's huge. Sadly, it's getting bigger and bigger. We live in a high pressure, society. So I do like to be able to touch people on a really personal level. And I always have. And the same thing with philanthropy and giving back. I don't judge any woman, whether she is a working woman, whether she's a stay-at-home mom, because I did that for many years. I do what I do almost because it's a compulsion. For me personally, I was not put on this earth to stare at myself in the mirror, go to SoulCycle, and go to Whole Foods.
Right.
For me, I can't. I feel like I need to do something. But I have a friend who is so happy doing that. I am so jealous of her. I am so jealous because she loves it. And then she plays tennis.
Yes.
And Sherry, you know I'm talking to you.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. I always go to my therapist and I say, I want to be Sherry when I go. She's so happy. And yeah, everyone has the thing that makes them tick. And I just feel compelled to leave a mark that I want someone to remember that I helped them. That's what makes me tick.
And I think that's awesome, because I think what we're doing with Find Her Seat is kind of that exact thing. You know, we say so often, like, for stay-at-home moms, you know, Jennifer and I have both done that role and still somewhat do that role now.
Me too. Yes. I had nanny issues this morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Work at home moms.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And we always say, you know, for those that are happy and feel fulfilled being a stay-at-home mom, my goodness, that is such a selfless career to have. But it's so fun to get to spotlight women who are doing other things as well, because I think it's so important for our viewers and listeners to get an inside look into people that are doing things, because sometimes you might see an outward appearance. I mean, Staci's a beautiful woman.
Gorgeous. And let me just say, if you're just listening to this podcast, you are going to want to tune in to our YouTube channel or go to our Facebook, because you want to see how gorgeous Staci is.
Yes. And so I think far too often someone would see you and see that you're happily married and your husband and your children and think Staci has no problems. There's no way that she's got depression. And so I think when we're transparent, and, you know, Staci and I were kind of joking before we started about dating, you know, that our dating, you know, adventures as single moms living in the suburbs.
Oh, that was
I
fun.
think far too often, you know, we want to, you know, make it look like a pretty picture, when really, if you let other people know you're in the same situation, you know, they relate to you, and then it feels more real to them to come to you and to be like, you know what, if she's willing to put it out there, then I need to be willing to step up and say, you know, I need some help. And it's okay to get help. I mean, it's so great that you have an avenue for people to come to.
Absolutely. And I try every once in a while, you know, social media is a very sticky wicket, right? So I put my best photos on my social media, right? I don't put my photo of what I looked like when I got up this morning, because that's just not smart, right? But I know what I looked like when I got up this morning. And sometimes I feel the need to remind people that we create a certain, you know, vision of ourselves. You know, you do. You have to be very, very careful. Well, we're not perfect. My marriage is not perfect. Sorry, honey. My children are not perfect. My life is not perfect. I work at it every day. Some days are freaking awesome, and some days are not. And we all, you know, stumble. And I think as I've gotten older, I have learned to rely on girlfriends.
Yes.
And that is something I wish I would have known in my 20s.
Right.
Because I didn't have that. I focused solely on my marriage that didn't work out, and my children. And I was like in my own isolated little bubble.
Oh, yes.
And I think now that I've gotten older, you know, I have people I can text at any time, you know, and I would totally, I always tell people that you need to have those, you know, 5 people.
You need your tribe.
You need your tribe.
For sure.
100%.
Yes. Okay. So let's back up a little bit. I want to know more about your philanthropy.
Yes.
Tell me what you're up to.
Yeah. So it's been interesting for me, because that's only been something I've been able to do probably the past 6 years.
Okay.
As my children have gotten older and we've had a little more money to spare and time to spare. When I was younger, living in the suburbs, it didn't occur to me to give money to causes.
Right.
It went to the Staci Shoe Fund. It wasn't really until I moved into town that I was like, oh, people do these things.
Right.
And I started getting involved in sharing and co-sharing. And so some of the first causes that were closest to me at the beginning was sex trafficking. Sex trafficking in Houston is a big one, obviously as a woman. And as a
Daughters.
mother of
Yes.
daughters.
Mhm.
And also we had an incident in my home where one of my children was sort of catfished online, and
Mhm.
it came like right into my own computer
Mhm.
in my own house. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
no.
Yes.
So it became, that was my cause
Mhm.
for several years. And I really worked hard on that.
Mm.
Currently, my cause is the Great Age Movement.
Okay.
My friend Fritz founded it.
Uh-huh.
And it's a really great one because my grandfather lived with me on and off for the last 10 years of his
Mhm,
life
mhm.
before he passed. And so they build senior citizen playgrounds,
Oh my gosh, I love that.
which I think is awesome because the elderly tend to get very dismissed.
Mhm.
Yes, for
You
sure.
know, they're very isolated, they're alone. And so
Mhm.
this is good for their physical health, their mental health.
Oh, I love that.
And so that's been so the ranch that you just saw the
Uh-huh.
photos,
Right.
I purchased that at their luncheon.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
So that was
Ah.
the Pinkertons.
Uh-huh.
They donated that, and I bid on it and reaped the rewards. So it was a win-win.
Now that's a good auction.
It
to
was
win.
like-
that was
for
a good
sure. I
one.
know.
It was a
Jennifer and I
good
saw
one.
your pictures from there, and I was
Mhm.
telling Staci, I'm like, if only you could have packed me in your suitcase.
There was room, and it is available for rent on VRBO Pinkerton Ranch. You can
that
just
is
look
good
that
to
up.
know.
Yes.
I'm thinking of Find Her Seat Retreat at the Pinkerton Ranch.
Yes, yes. She might even catch you a deal for that.
There
so,
you
know, you got to
go.
look up Jennifer Pinkerton.
Oh, I love
Yes.
that.
And so you were saying earlier about how you had experienced, the ketamine and
Yes.
that the environment wasn't quite up to par. And
Yes.
I think that is so important that we're surrounded by something that is soothing, not just the medication
Right.
or the,
You're
the
already
treatment you're getting.
Yes.
And I've seen, pictures of your facility, and I was telling Jennifer earlier, I said, it's like going to a spa.
You're
know?
undergoing a medical procedure where they're putting in an IV, and it's a disassociative thing. So you're feeling a little high. You're feeling a little bit out of your body.
Mhm.
So the last thing you want to be looking at is a dirty chair in front of
Right.
you. That is not
Right.
my. I'm like, this weird chair is smiling at me. Like, I don't.
Maybe we should go now.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That sounds fantastic to me.
Yeah. So I was like, I can't have this. So
Mhm.
I need spa music and headphones and pretty candles and a blanket. And I'm going to need pretty things to look at because you need to be in your best headspace.
Yes.
And for that, it's different for everyone. They need to be able to pick the music that's best for them. We have, for some people, they like to have positive affirmations that they can see and hear.
Mhm.
It's very, very subjective. At the
Mhm.
first place I went, as a matter of fact, it wasn't even totally private. We were just divided by a screen so I could hear the person behind me. I'm like, I don't want to
You're
hear
not
your
helping.
problems.
Oh, no.
It is, very, very personal. And we can actually even go to you. We have a mobile unit.
That is
That's
amazing.
So,
amazing.
yeah.
And now,
So-
how long have y'all been open? Because it's somewhat of a new
It's
adventure
a
for
very
you.
new venture since November.
That is
Brand
Since
new.
November, so it's still pretty new. But we were the first. I'm very proud. I have been trying and trying. We were the first IV ketamine clinic to make it on the news locally.
yes.
It's been everywhere. It's been, nationally everywhere. But to try to get it covered locally has been like pulling teeth.
Oh, that is
That's
interesting.
awesome.
So, because it has the connotation of being a party drug or a
Mhm.
street drug
Right.
when used inappropriately,
Mhm.
to try to get it covered, and even to get it on Google, when you put ketamine in, it gets you blocked.
Oh. Well,
So using your AdWords has been
Right.
another real challenge.
Yeah,
And I'm not savvy with
Yes,
that.
yes.
So I'm savvy with social media,
Mhm.
but the
But not
Google
the-
thing has been like, oh. So it's been a real learning experience.
No, for sure. Because when Susan actually told me what it was, I thought maybe she was mistaken.
Right. You're like, not that.
I've heard of that, and it's probably not what they're doing.
It's probably not. Yeah. And we're like, that's exactly what it
Uh-huh.
is.
Right. So there's a lot of misunderstandings then out there. People
Mhm.
really don't understand this drug
Right.
and what it can do for people, and I think that happens with a lot of drugs. They start out as something that's good, and then people misuse them and take them into the street and probably mix them with all kinds of things. So don't go out there and get ketamine. Or
Don't you
ketamine.
buy it on the street?
On the
Yes,
street.
Probably not going to be the same.
Come
No.
to Stacy for
Yeah,
sure.
let's get it done in a clean, sterile.
And do it the
Safe
right way
environment.
for sure.
Yeah, 100%. But that's so many drugs. I mean, think about well, obviously not a party drug, but Latisse, our eyelashes girls, that was a glaucoma medication. And it just so happened they got nice, long, fluffy eyelashes out of it. So things, they just find out. My husband, they have been using it just as a anesthetic, in the ER.
Well, even Botox, was used for different things, and now it's it can be used for cosmetics.
And now our foreheads don't move.
I know, right? Yeah, we're all shocked right now.
I am angry, and you don't even know it.
But I think PRP too. PRP was used dentally. They had it in the dentist's office.
That's right.
And then now they're realizing how amazing it is for so many different things.
That's true.
Yeah, keep your minds open when it comes to different alternative medicines.
I would say always be open-minded. The thing with IV ketamine, for some people, they can take antidepressants and they work great for them, and that's fantastic. But for some people, they're resistant, and nothing works for them. And I will also say, though, ketamine is not a magical cure. You still have to go to your therapist, talk to somebody. I'm not ever going to tell anybody, take 6 injections and you're cured. Life will be perfect and, go along your merry way. I wish life was that simple.
Oh, yes.
It's not.
We would all be there.
Wouldn't we? Wouldn't we? That's just not, it's just the same as losing weight. It's like if you told someone they could take 6 pills, lose 100 pounds and life. It's just not how it is.
Because there's got to be a therapy behind it. You're just taking care of you're taking care of the acute trauma. You're letting go of all the built up pain. It does rewire your brain. And it is life-changing for people. We have one client that I can't give her name, but she was recently on, so it was not a HIPAA thing. You can find her on KHOU, and she's a patient of Dr. Rose, who's right here in this center. Yes, and so she went through a major trauma. Someone actually tried to murder her. Oh my goodness.
And so she went through a full series because of the horrific PTSD. And she's just a new person. So it's really,
that is incredible
to be able to forgive somebody who tried to murder you.
Right.
That's huge.
Look, I can't forgive some people who've done far less.
Okay.
There's this one girl back in high school.
We've all got that one.
So,
you know who you are.
You know who you are, girl.
Now, what is it? Is there an age range?
Yes and no. Really, you just have to be adult size. Okay. So roughly 13, all the way up to, somewhere in the 80s. The only people that we really can't work with are if you have extreme high blood pressure that is not regulated, because during the treatment, your blood pressure does, and we monitor it, but it does spike and it goes down right after. So if you come in and you've got sky high blood pressure, then that wouldn't work. But otherwise, it's very, very safe, and you're monitored with
everything
stuff the whole time.
Now, how long does one treatment usually take? Like, how long are you
40
there?
minutes.
Well, that's not
the actual treatment is 40 minutes. We give you 20 minutes to get set up and 20 minutes to kind of come down off your and then that's it. Now, if you're a chronic pain person, there are people that have chronic pain like fibromyalgia. That can go on for a few hours.
Okay.
That's an entirely different kind of thing. And there are people that can be there for 3 to 4 hours. That's a totally different type of infusion.
But I love that you're able to, assess the patient and realize that, not every treatment is a one size fits all.
No, we go by body weight as well. And there's also a tolerance. There can be a little 115-pound girl who needs more than a 210-pound man.
Yes.
We have to assess them. How did that feel for you? Some people can tolerate it more than others. It's kind of the same as drinking.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. By the way,
I know.
By the way, thank you, tasting room.
Right?
Tasting room.
And
Cheers
to tasting room. And yes. So I think the fun thing that you're doing is not only are you getting to help change people's lives. Truly, like you talked about the lady who was able to forgive someone that did something, attempted something so heinous.
Right.
And at the same time, you're giving back to the community through your philanthropy. What are some projects that you have that you would like to do that you haven't yet done?
Oh boy, that's a good question, because I want to do something with travel. Okay, so I've even changed the name of my Instagram
I know.
to Staci Loves to
Staci
Travel.
Loves to
So I'm
It's called
wanting.
manifesting.
Yes,
Yes.
it is. It is.
Mhm.
I'm a big believer in that.
Oh,
Actually.
we
So
are
are
too.
we.
We do. We had
Huge
shows
believer.
on it. Yes.
I have my board.
Oh, we did a whole vision board show.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, I gotta go back and watch that one.
Yes.
So I feel that is coming for me this year.
Mhm.
That I need to find a way to monetize
Mhm.
something with travel that also brings me joy.
Right.
Because let's be honest, it's not all about the money for me,
Mhm.
but I mean, I'm not living to do things for free.
Exactly.
Well, we all have to survive.
I did that for a while.
Right.
Like, it's not about the money. And then
Yes.
after a while, I was like, okay, it's a little bit about the money because I'm not getting paid at all. Now I'm
Right.
bitter.
Right. Exactly.
So earning some money for what you do,
Mhm.
especially as a woman, validates your hard work.
It
Absolutely.
really,
Okay, so
really does.
So let's be honest. Okay, so it does.
Mhm.
So yes, earning something matters to me. I'm not
Mhm.
going to lie.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Do I earn what my husband earns? No,
Mhm.
I'm not a doctor. So, but I do want to do something with travel, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to figure out if I want it to be me. I want to incorporate my kids in
Mhm.
it. So you guys just pulled something out I've told nobody.
Oh, there you go.
But
Right
yeah,
here
you
on
heard it
Find Your
you heard it
Seat.
first. But I'm trying to figure out a way to make that happen.
I think that's incredible. I
Yeah.
mean, that's really kind of what our whole Find Her Seat was developed, because we were
Mhm.
saying that women want to find their seat at the table. You know, if it's with their husband or in their family,
Financially,
yes,
whatever
that
it
they've
be.
got their own seat at the table. And I
Yep.
think that's exactly what you're saying. It doesn't mean you have to make millions a year, but just feeling like you've got some worth and some value, so that you can be an equal to those around you, and not feeling like, you know, your worth is not a value, your time and your energy spent.
Don't you hate that feeling?
Yes.
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 Yeah, I mean, I think that's something very, very unique to women.
Mhm.
And it's something you have to fight through. And that's why I
Mm-hmm.
keep talking about, like, it's so important to not be judgmental. The whole
Yes.
mom thing
Mhm.
versus working mom
Mhm.
versus not having children at all. Like, we have to just knock that off
Yes.
Yes.
completely. I remember being younger, and when I was staying home, and I would go to things with my husband
Mhm.
before I was involved in philanthropy, when I was a stay-at-home mom, and someone coming up to me and saying, "Oh, well, what is it that you do?"
Mm-hmm. We've been there.
And I, in my perkiest
Uh-huh.
possible voice, I'd say, "Oh, well, I stay home with our 5 kids."
Uh-huh.
And she would say, "Oh, that must be fun."
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
And I would
Yes.
think, "I'm going to poke your eyes out." And I would say, "Yeah, it is. It's really, really fun."
Uh-huh.
But that happens so often. Gosh, I can remember even where I was younger, and it was, what college are you going to, or what,
Mhm.
you know, sorority are you in? Like,
Mhm.
all trying to fit somebody into a box. And then if you didn't, well,
Yeah, they look down on you.
Whatever answer you gave was wrong, and you're just
Right.
standing there going,
yeah, I'm not good enough to sit with you at your table.
right.
Yes.
And yeah, that has to go away,
And
girls.
we've kind of been joking a little bit and saying, you know, there's 2 women that are around us. There's the ones that we're doing Find Her Seat for,
Mhm.
and then the ones that get to be on Find Her Seat. You know, the ones that are supporting other women and that are lifting other women up, because there's enough for everyone. You know, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and there's
Right.
no reason to feel this competition, and that we can't all be doing fabulous things, and in the meantime lifting each other up.
And raising
So,
children. I
yes,
mean, come on. That's
a huge
a lot.
thing. And I think from-
5 children.
and I've had women that tell me, "Oh, I'm just a stay-at-home mom."
Right.
Like, you are not
that kills
just a
me.
stay-at-home
That
mom.
kills me.
Like, you are a, you know, bad bleepity bleep
Mhm.
stay-at-home mom. Like, you are doing something amazing. And
Agree.
if it's like you said, I think, you know, we get this idea of what is supposed to be,
Mhm.
you know, and women that don't have children, or that don't stay at home with their children. There's nothing wrong with that. It's what's working for them.
Right.
And if they are feeling happy and fulfilled, their children are going to see that.
Agree.
If the parent that stays at home that does not want to stay at home, that child is going to feel that. They're going to know mom does not want to be
Whatever
here.
fulfills you.
Yes.
Please,
Agree.
please do, and just be happy
And
with
lift
it.
each other up. There's no reason to knock each other down.
I hope it's changing. I eavesdrop on my teenage daughter and her friends. Either things are changing or they're just the most confident group of girls I've ever heard, because I remember us being more snarky and picking our bodies apart and stuff. And these girls are confident, and they don't seem to tear each other down. And I remember just, we had to be as thin as possible. And like everything was, and they're just out there just flaunting whatever they have. They don't seem to be worried about just nibbling on carrot sticks.
Right.
And just the way that I remember feeling like everything had to be so perfect. And I do think that we're becoming more inclusive of all types of body shapes. And, I'm definitely mum's the word about diet and stuff like that in front of my kids.
We speak about health.
What's
healthy for
what's
you.
healthy. And I talk about finding your passion, pursuing your passion, helping other people. So I hope that.
But see, you're probably not giving yourself enough credit, because you're saying how amazing your daughter is in her friends.
Yep.
Well, hello, they've got an amazing role model that you
I
are
hope
making.
so. That's funny.
Yeah,
That's
you're
funny.
making a conscious decision to make sure to not, talk about the diets and and to knock each other down. And you're doing things to support other people and women. And so,
that's
that's
true.
feeding off. And
I hope so.
That's
I
how
hope so.
children learn.
I just remember feeling extremely insecure. Like, I mean,
like yesterday.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I would ride the bus in like curlers. I wouldn't go to school without full makeup.
Yes.
I laid my outfit out the night before. My daughter's leaving. I'm like, are you going to brush your hair? She's like, oh no, I'm good. And I'm like, okay.
That's what fingers are for. Mom.
Yeah, I'm like, that's
I've got two of those.
right. And I'm like, you go.
So I want to go ahead and get into the part where our show's kind of known for this question.
Okay.
And it's a question that we like to ask every one of our guests, because it digs even a little bit deeper than we've even gone. And that is, tell me, what is your why?
It's because I have to.
Okay.
No, I really do. If I die, well, I will die, but when I die, if I didn't leave a mark, if my mark was, she had the cutest hair, that will be like the end of me.
Right.
I want somebody to remember that she was so creative. She was so fun. She threw the best parties. That time she helped that woman out and she did whatever. That time, okay, I'm going to tell you one thing I did that I think is really great. And it was really not a big deal, but River Oaks Elementary. There are a couple women there that don't like me. So there was a Halloween party. It was right after Harvey. And they wanted to charge all the children $2 in order to wear a Halloween costume to the Halloween party.
Right.
And I'm like, it's Halloween. Like, why do you have to pay to wear a Halloween costume? And it was just a fundraiser.
Right.
But I thought that was very uncool. So I said, I don't think that's nice.
Right.
And I had no idea the backlash that I was going to get on that. They said, we do this every year. And I said, well, this year, I think we should make an exception because some kids might not have any Halloween costumes because they're floating downstream.
Right.
So anyway, I said, I will pay for everyone's $2 if you will, anyway, that kind of thing, making some kind of a difference. I have to do that. I feel like I have to right some type of wrong. I feel like I've got some type of I have to make a difference that someone will remember, or why am I even here?
Right.
I love that.
I love that so much.
And I think it's so, when we ask, what your why is, and you got emotional there.
That time.
It's like that's what you want.
where
And that's how you know
attached to.
that you are really, you've got your why solidly grounded. You know, when that emotion is there, I know, and Jennifer and I have talked about our why. We
both
get teary-eyed,
Yeah.
and because you know you've really found it. It's in your gut, and that passion is behind it.
Oh, it's all like self-driven. I don't get anything from exterior. I wish, I guess, I'm not exterior driven. I'm not driven by compliments. I honestly I don't care if people like me.
That's so good.
That is
How
amazing.
freeing is
I know.
that?
It probably is free.
It is.
I have enough friends.
Right.
You've got your 5.
I got my 5. All you need is 5. It's really good. It's 5. I have a pretty happy life, and when I don't, I call one of those 5. They'll pick me up and take me for, cocktail and a taco.
Right.
That's really all you need.
Tacos make everything better.
Tacos make everything better.
Well, how can everyone find you? What are the best ways? We've got your social media and how they can find MindScape, everything. Yes.
Okay. So you can go to MindScape. It's one word, mindscape.com. If you want, that's just easier, or info@mindscape.com is a direct email link. You can find me on Facebook at Staci Henderson, and I answer all you can easily, or Staci Loves to Travel on Instagram.
We know that one.
Or you can actually reach my personal email. I don't mind that either. stacirh@gmail.com.
And we will make sure to put all of that in the comments as well.
Yeah. So,
and where is
don't ever, I won't give out my phone number because I will never answer my voicemail. And it even says that on my voicemail.
I know.
Please don't leave a voicemail because there's 180 of them. I won't listen.
I know my voicemail is still around.
It's
honestly,
so bad.
That's how mine. I just get the warning it's full.
The funniest part is I say, please don't leave a voicemail because I will never, ever, ever, ever answer it. And then it says, do you have a voicemail? And I'm like, what's wrong with you?
They did not listen.
You did not listen.
Not
I'm assuming it's a machine.
Yes.
Now, where is MindScape located?
We're on Norfolk, so we're right off Kirby and 59.
Easy to get to.
Access.
Easy.
Is that?
Easy access. And we also have a second location in Katy.
Oh.
We're with a psychology group, so we're out there 2 days a week.
And where are y'all out there?
It's on Provincial.
Okay,
I know where that is.
So,
yes. That's nice and
so
close in as well.
Yeah, so we're trying to make it easy.
And we wanted to also thank the tasting room here for having us.
This is so nice.
I said, I guess they liked us because they invited us back for a second show here. And they, spoiled us with our
This is the
Prosecco.
best.
And then also, if you guys want to come down to the tasting room, we're in Uptown Park. And on Tuesdays, which is today, is half price bottles of wine.
Oh, you need to come.
Yes.
And then on Friday, they have their rosé all day. So you get 20% off a rosé. And then I don't know about you, Staci. I'm sure you enjoy Houston Restaurant Week.
I love Restaurant Week.
They are participating in Houston Restaurant Week. Yes.
Yes. It's going on right.
Yes.
Oh my
now.
gosh. Last Restaurant Week, I went like 4 days a week. It was ridiculous.
I know. Jennifer and I were saying that we need to go do like a Find Her Seat review of all the restaurant weeks.
No, you really should. I think I gained like 3 pounds.
Oh,
but
it's so worth it.
It was so worth it. The whole tasting menu things they have are so
I
good.
know. And they have one here at the tasting room. So we're going to have to definitely check that out and see what is on there. So we appreciate them. And also, I noticed that Jennifer and I both were in alignment today with our 2 chic accessories. And I've even got some of their fun bracelets on. And y'all, my daughter tries to steal them, who's 10, but they're $5. So if she steals them. Yes. If she steals these.
Yes, they're amazing.
Oh, yes. My earrings were about 18. And so look them up on Instagram. It's the number 2 chic accessories. Yes.
So you're going to need to give me that link.
Yes, definitely. And they will, if you mention Find Her Seat, they will do free shipping or 10% off. So if you're not local, they will mail them out to you. And if you want to make sure and find us every single week, then go to Find Her Seat on Facebook and set your notifications. So when we go live, you can see us. If not, watch us in replay as well on YouTube. And then you can also find us on all of our podcasts.
Yes.
On Spotify, iTunes.
Oh my goodness, we're everywhere. Just
if
Google
you
Find
Google Find Her
Seat,
Seat, you'll find us.
and
so
you will find us.
if you want to hear us, watch us, do both, We would love to make sure that you are connected with us. And we hope that everyone enjoyed our show. We are so grateful.
I did. It was so fun. It was so fun.
And getting to hang out with girlfriends. And Staci definitely is a perfect fit for letting us know how to find her seat.
Yes.
So enjoy your afternoon and come out and get your half-price bottle of wine at the tasting
100%. I'm
room.
coming back later.
I know. Take care.
Thank you.